These creatures are called the Vril.
They come up from underground different spots all over the world.
These things have always been under us. These bloodline families, they're just lizard helpers, and lizards favored them in the past. They used to bring them up gold and gems from underground that they mined, and they would trade people gems and gold, and they would give them animals, children, all kinds of things, and just cart them down tunnels and cages. Some of these things, the Brotherhood of the Snake, Dragon Society and stuff, it's all about the lizards. They come up underneath the underground bases. The underground bases have connecting tunnels underneath of them, and they go way down deeper.
They need a methane-oxygen mix to breathe, and deep underground they got sulfur pools, I guess, that make this stuff.
There's 3 types.
There's a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Vril type 1.
The type 1s are covered in red diamond-shaped scales. Vril type 1s are real dumb. Little dragons, those are the Vril type 1.
There's a type 2 that is not parasitic, but it's still vicious, nasty, carnivorous. They're all carnivorous.
Vril type 2 are a little smarter.
And there's a type 3 that's 8 feet tall, has a real long neck, and looks like a gray alien.
And Vril type 3 run the previous 2 kinds.
These lizards are smarter than a chimpanzee, and they're saying that this is probably the thing that's going to cause the greatest stir in human history, finding out about the parasite lizards. People have kept them secret because in the past they used to think they were magic. They didn't know what parasites were.
But I'm not sure of their origins, but they are the highly evolved lizard species. They're reptilian. They actually have said that they're not actually lizard. They're saurian, as in dinosaurian. They said that they lived past the cataclysm that killed dinosaurs because they were so far underground. Anyway, different religious cultures and sects and stuff started interacting with them. China was big into them. Israel was big into them. They're underground in different regions all around the world, and there's even different factions of Vril. That's their name, the Vril. That's the common name they all call themselves.
They can say the word themselves, Vril.
The lizards can talk. Basic speech. They sound like they swallow helium. The small ones, the first type ones. They were all asking me, "What are we going to do, Donnie? We don't want to kill you." It's disturbing to look at them talking to you.
The lizards come up from underneath the deep bases, and they hang there with all the clones in the cloning floor, and they do all kinds of crazy stuff.
They have little stairs made for the stupid things and everything. They walk right up and they sit around in the stands with them and everything. It's sick. Some people don't like sitting near them. They smell funny and they're really creepy looking. So they sit on the other side.
They fight there sometimes and have the clones sit there and watch them. That's how I got in contact with them. I met them at the cloning center as a clone.
I met these stupid things when I was a kid there. I pretended to like them when I was a kid because I couldn't believe it was stuck on me. They're like, "Meet the Vril." I'm like, "That's not real, that's a puppet." And they're like, "It's no puppet. That's something you guys made," because they make splice things, but no, they're natural things, creatures.
Well, they showed me the biology of them out there. Perfect human killing machines.
They included me into some kind of a torture spectacle. They'd chain me up, and people get aroused there in the stands at watching it, the screaming and stuff. And lizards, Vrils, the lizards really love it. It's like music to them. They got built-in sonar. They're real sensitive to sound and light because they're basically subterranean troglodytes, like trolls, basically. They are trolls. Well, they're really paranoid. They're parasitic creatures. Parasitic psychology is really cowardly. They slink around in the dark, have humans help them. If they're seen, they're discovered and it's ruined. Secrecy is part of a lizard's religion. Parasite psychology hide in the shadows. Once it's proven, once you see a crab, I call them crab nasties, once you see a Vril body on television, and then people know what the proboscis does, and then someone says the percentage of the population that has been droned, it could lead to panic, riots, loss of social order, martial law, all that, and that could be the end of the world, spiral down.
The Illuminati are basically using me to expose these lizards in an eloquent way, because none of them want to be the first person out so that they'll die.
These lizards have a unique biological property of their bodies.
The lizards have what's called a proboscis.
It's an ejectable brain and spinal column.
The small ones they use to drone people, because the proboscis on young lizard type 1s, they're small enough to go into an eye and not ruin the eye, because they're supposed to do this to animals with bigger eyeballs, probably friggin' dinosaurs.
They parasite a human's brain. This top cap thing on the top of their head comes out. They can do this once in their life. It pulls their spinal column along with it. The human would have to be restrained or unconscious.
The thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch. It then starts what they call sweating the quill. The spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead, and it can't go back in. It's one way.
The juice that's in the spinal cord gets excreted out of the tip of this thing. They're parasitic cells. The parasitic cells go into the brain.
The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human. Over time, it'll develop a rash. It'll lose its hair.
And they're actually deficient. They're dumber than the original person.
And they mimic human behavior. And it knows that its life is dependent on it mimicking human behavior, so it does really well. Even with other animals, it's smart enough to instinctually mimic the animal's behavior. The drones of 100 years ago erased any existence of these Vril lizards from Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them. Or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them.